expected this game to go from 123 for 1 at T to 198 for 7 at stumps. 6 for 75 in the final session of play on the first day of this fifth and final test between England and India at the Oval. To look back on a weird day of test cricket on ESPN Cricket for Matchday, Ajit Agarkar in studio with me and Toby Rowland-Jones joining us from London in just a bit. Explain that.
Yeah, strange one. Strange one. Started looking like a pretty good toss to win. That first session didn't do much. Second session, India bowled beautifully. Swung around a bit. Cook and Moeen Ali fought through that. And the last session, just the ball did do quite a bit. I mean, whether it's the sort of the chill in the air a little bit, whether the pitch suddenly woke up after lunch, I'm not sure, but there was enough help for the bowlers, but the bowling was exceptional. And again, like the entire series has been pretty ordinary batting by England. I mean, people keep saying, look, they've just about managed to play the bigger moments well in this series because the batting has been as bad as India's.
Toby, I wonder what you made of that. Did England bat poorly, or would you agree with Ajit that ball did a lot more than we expected?
Certainly, yeah. From the lunch period onwards, it definitely did a little bit more. But we'd obviously seen, Alistair Cook and Moeen Ali really battle through some tough periods, and you feel as a side, once you sort of manage to get through that you're setting yourself up for a bit of a decent score in the first innings. But I mean, you've got to give credit to the Indian bowlers that they could have easily got a little bit frustrated after the second session, having bowled so well and not got their rewards, but they stuck at it and they hung in there, and I think you've got to say they deserve everything they've got there. They've bowled fantastically and made England work hard for every run that they've got. So, it's a bit of a strange day to assess in its nature, but yeah, I thought the Indian seamers were particularly impressive.
There were signs that around lunchtime, because you said the ball was moving and India were perhaps unlucky to not get more wickets. There were drop chances too. Towards the end of that day, did you feel like there's a bit of zip, or the pitch got quicker?
Seems like it, because a lot of the times Butler as well was late on the ball, where it almost sort of zipped off the surface as well as some swing. You've got to admire the Indian seamers. It's the relentlessness just to keep coming back. All bowl long spells. Shami at one point bowled a 9-over spell where he kept beating Moeen Ali, but just to come back and still bowl with the same sort of intensity and quality, and they deserved what they got after tea time. I mean, there was Stokes maybe guilty of playing a pretty ordinary shot of Jadeja. Also, I mean, England let Jadeja bowl a lot. I mean, could have perhaps put a bit more pressure on him. That might have made Virat Kohli get both seamers from both ends and not make life easy. He could not, because Jadeja bowled that as tightly as he did, or England let him. He could rotate his three fast bowlers who were just exceptional again.
Okay, let's go wicket by wicket as to how this started, because at one stage England were 133 for 1, then they lost 3 wickets for 1 run, and those are some pretty heavy wickets that they lost. Alistair Cook, who was looking good in his what looks like his penultimate test innings. Then you had Joe Root out for nothing, and then Johnny Bairstow out for nothing, not for the first time. The Cook one, almost against the run. You saw that these two could just bat all day. Just lazy outside off stump.
Yeah, I think one of those things just looked really good today. I think you could see how much better he was from the rest of the guys in tough conditions when the ball was swinging. Got beaten a couple of times, but not more than that I remember. Okay, he was dropped once by Rahane, but apart from that, just looked very organised. Scored off loose balls and hung in there. It's one of those things where he's sort of chopped on. And maybe more batsmen need to play those sorts of innings. I mean, even Joe Root, that's similar sort of dismissal that he's had before. And batsmen of his quality, when you know a particular bowler targeting that sort of mode of dismissal, he'd be very disappointed with that one.
Yeah, it seemed like he wanted to come outside off or try and get his foot outside off. But for a batsman of his quality, that's not how you should see him getting out.
Not when he's gotten out the same way last test match to Ishant Sharma on that occasion. Here, Bumrah, the ball swinging in and full. He's on not, just faced a few balls, so you can miss early on in your innings. But like I said, I think he'd be more disappointed than anyone else to get out in the same fashion. That's the one thing that you don't want, and most top batsmen don't repeat the same mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, common factor in both those wickets, Toby, was Jasprit Bumrah. There could be an argument that England have faced very little of Bumrah before this series, certainly not in red ball cricket. Maybe a few of them would have played him in white ball cricket. But as this series has gone on, would you at least like to see someone like Joe Root find a way? Quality batsman against what looks to be a sharp, quick, unusual sort of bowler. It seems like the bowlers have the wood over Joe Root in this series.
I think, like you said, definitely there's something unique about the way that Bumrah delivers the ball. And I think noticeably today is the way that the Indian attack complements each other. You've got something slightly different in every bowler. Ishant Sharma with a bit of height, Shami who sort of has the ability to really go both ways more than the other two. But yeah, certainly it seems that Bumrah's ability to hit back of a length and almost catch a batsman on the crease and surprise them with a little bit of pace. I think even with Cook it sort of seemed to get onto him maybe a little bit quicker, and I think that's his skill. He's probably not the easiest to pick up, and particularly I think watching him with the older ball, he really still can I suppose offer something that the other guys can't. And yeah, he's come in and really been an outstanding performer for India.
Johnny Bairstow, who started this series quite promisingly and comes of heaps of runs in the summer, seems to be a different batsman at the moment. He's such a nervous starter.
Yeah, wasn't as leg side as he was in the last test. Maybe that's why he got close to that ball and actually actually nicked it. But again, very soft dismissal. Yeah, you're not set and it's early in your innings, understandable. But once you've seen the ball do a little bit, I think the first thing that you want to try and do is leave as many balls as you can. So the length was short, so he had time to leave on length because there seems to be enough carry in the pitch where it's not going to hit the stumps even if it's on line. So yeah, very disappointing. I think when you're 4, 5 and 6, everyone's dropped down the order to a preferred number apparently because that's where they want to bat. But pretty disappointing performance again.
The reason they all managed to accommodate the positions they wanted was because Moeen Ali at 3 has played what looks now to be, Toby, a valuable innings. 170 balls. He batted the entire day. At one point he thought he's just going to hang around and bat time, but in the context of the way the innings went on and the day went on, that Moeen Ali innings could be quite important.
Certainly. There's a lot of times in your career where you feel great and you've got a really nice flow, and Moeen Ali's certainly one of those normally. But today was a real scrappy day for him, and credit to him, he battled through. He didn't really ever change or try and hit his way out of trouble. He really just dug in and seemed to accept his situation. And it was a shame actually just having got to 50 that he then got out, because you wondered whether that might be a little bit of a release for him and whether he could go on and convert it. But I certainly enjoyed seeing a slightly different side to him. We're used to seeing a real stroke maker, someone who scores at a good rate. So I think he recognised the job that he could do for the team, and like you said, it showed once a few wickets fell how important that innings was.
That's exactly it, isn't it? I don't think many batsmen right now try and respect the conditions and maybe change their game according to those conditions, because everyone seems to just come and want to play their own game. Moeen Ali was a great example. Okay, he got beaten plenty of times. Cook's sort of a notch above most players, so he can do it. But that's an example of maybe what needed to be done on this pitch.
Finally, if you were Virat Kohli and you lost the toss on what looked like an ominous morning and you won 98 for 7, you take that?
Oh, I think he'll at 123 for 1. You think maybe if the pitch sort of flattens out or the ball stops swinging, then you could be in a bit of trouble. But you've got to give credit to the 3 seamers and Jadeja, of course, with the supporting role and 2 wickets. But the seamers were exceptional. Ishant Sharma just kept coming. Long spells, it has been a long series.
Yes.
And Ishant and Shami have played all the tests, so to keep doing that even in helpful conditions to keep executing it when the series is gone takes a lot of heart, and they've shown plenty of it this series.
I mean, sets things up nicely for this test match. Many thanks, Ajit Agarkar and Toby Rowland-Jones. We will continue getting their thoughts as this final test match gets on. And we now know at the end of day one that we should be in for quite an exciting test again. It certainly isn't one-sided. It hasn't been all series, this England-India series. Just when you thought one team was ahead, you had something strange happen, and all of a sudden we end the day with a different conversation. That's what's happened at the end of day one. Do join us again for the pre-match show half an hour before the start of play on day two for ESPN Cricket for Matchday.